Hey, this is a video for protein SHAPE.2. So go ahead, set up a new entry in your Cornell notes and pay attention to the essential vocabulary. Today we'll be discussing hormone, insulin, and diabetes. So just remember, we were talking in the last video about how we can send messages around the body. One way was using neurotransmitters, which are specially shaped proteins that send messages between the nervous system. Well, today we're going to talk about a different type of protein, again with a particular shape, but we're going to talk about a different type of protein that uses the heart and goes around in the bloodstream. And these specific proteins that have a very unique shape are called hormones. And this is obviously very simplified, but when you see it drawn on a Regents exam or any practice problem, they might show some real basic shapes because the shapes have to match. And again, just like a neurotransmitter fit into the receptor, the hormone also fits into the receptor as well. But a hormone is literally just a chemical message with a specific shape that fits in the receptor of a target cell. And the target cell is the cell that it wants to basically send the message to. So one example of a hormone is insulin, and I'm going to show you. So this represents a cell membrane. This is inside the cytoplasm. This represents a receptor on the surface of a cell, and this represents like a little channel. Because glucose is small enough to enter the cell, but it's actually a little bit more complicated than just a simple diffusion. So that it has to go through these little channels, but in order to get into the channel, like something needs to basically unlock this key, and that's where insulin comes into play. So the reason we want glucose in the cell is because we want it to go into the mitochondria. Remember when we discussed cellular respiration, the glucose is required to get the energy to make ATP. So we have all of these things in the bloodstream. We have red blood cells, and these would be red blood cells. These are representing different hormones, and this is representing glucose. So this is going around in the blood. You've probably heard it called blood sugar. Well, that's because glucose is in the blood. Now, this hormone does not fit into this receptor. So this message on this hormone is not received by this cell. But what you notice is the other message will be received, and this just so happens to be insulin. So when insulin tags onto this receptor, what happens is a little channel opens up within this cell, and then this glucose is allowed to enter the cell, where it will eventually go into the mitochondria, where it will be used to generate or create ATP, which is used for energy within the cell. Now, diabetes is when we don't make this insulin. And it's a disease where the body can't make insulin. So what has to happen is you need to take injections that provide insulin for your cells, because if you don't have insulin, you cannot absorb the glucose, which means you don't get energy. There was a lot of information. I would like you to respond to this check for understanding. I hope that this video was informative. I thank you for your attention, and I will see you soon.